Greetings and welcome to the 8th review in our 2018 Christmas sample series. Today we're going to look at the Trinidad Fundadores. There it is. It's a long and skinny, 40 ring gauge by 192 millimeters. Very similar in size to the Cohiba Glacialis and the Monte Cristo Specialis.
Yeah.
And like those cigars, they all have pigtail on top, and today I'm going to have a go at, as per usual, I'm going to have a go at untwisting the pigtail, and I'm not going to use a cutter on this, which I've tended to do the last year and a bit.
So you just untwist it and then
just untwist it and just
pop away.
Yeah, just with your thumbnail, just pull off, and that'll be fine. That's all you need.
Okay. Hopefully I don't break it.
No. Don't need to take too much off. Yeah, you can see that that's what I've taken off with just untwisting it and cutting it off with my thumb. There you go.
Yeah, I was about the same. See the draw. There's a little bit more there to take out. This might be a bit fiddly for me.
It certainly has that that combination of milk, coffee, and dough that these Fundadores have been known for lately, and we'll talk about that more in the review on the cold draw.
One's a bit snug, but I'll see. You never know. I've had some that feel a bit snug, and then I'll light them up, and then the draw's fine. So
yeah. We're going to light this up and come back and give our thoughts in the first third. So we've lit it up, and straight off the bat, we're discussing milk coffee.
Oh yeah, like a cappuccino. If you were to have, full cream milk, like cappuccino full cream milk is on top.
Yes.
Yeah, really pleasant.
That donut dough type flavour.
Freshly baked, like made donut. That's what it tastes like.
Yeah.
When you try a fresh donuts, you open them up, they got that moisture inside. They're nice, they're tasty. Yeah, it's like that.
It is like that. The other thing that I pick up, one more thing that I pick up off it is certainly there's a little bit of spice to it.
Tiny bit on the palate.
Yeah.
I've got a tiny tingle there. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Very pleasant to retrohale.
No spice on the retrohale, but it's very smooth. Like a
easy to retrohale.
That's
for a 1-year-old cigar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Very good. How's your draw? Mine's good. I think it's a tiny bit snug, but I'll see how that goes.
Mine is too. I'm having a draw through it. Go on.
Oh, I was just going to say, maybe just see how it goes, if it opens up or not. I've taken most off from the pigtail, where the pigtail was, so yeah, I'll just see how it goes. Might open up a little bit, but it's not unsmokable. Yeah.
In regards to draw, I got to say I'm pretty forgiving for draw. It has to be pretty loose or pretty tight for me to really. No, for me, that's just me. Everyone's different in that case, but no, the draw is just a tad tighter than the last cigar that we had in the sample series, the Partagas Presidente. But I'm okay with it. For me, what's interesting at the moment is that I've got a little bit of a run to that. So I'll just let it go, and I want to see if it's going to autocorrect, which I think it will. We've talked about this before in the sample series. Don't touch it up if you don't have to, folks.
Yeah, it'll surprise you. You'd be surprised. Yeah. Mine's pretty razor sharp. So at the moment, nice ash.
Yeah. So what I want to say about this cigar, while we're smoking through the first third, is that it has enjoyed a little bit of a critical renaissance, if that's the word that we're looking for. It's really coming into its own. The RAG and the ARS box codes in late 2017, early 2018 were very popular on Friends of Urbanos forum. Very popular. I was able to get some quad pack samples of both of those. So I've had, I think I've had about, I would say at least 6, 7, 8 maybe in the last year. And similarly to the Romeo Giulietta Churchill, which I feel also has had a bit of a renaissance, both those cigars for me have really hit the spot. Whenever I felt like a longer cigar, I've tended to go for those in the last year, and I've not been disappointed with one. And I've probably had about equal amounts, probably 6 or 7 or 8 of each in that time. And similarly, I could tell right from as you can see. Is that amazing?
Yeah, look at that.
Look at that. Yeah. In the time I've been talking, that's corrected itself. There you go. So, and I think that will further correct itself. So I'm just drawing that again. But this is every bit like that, like those cigars that I've smoked. If you've never smoked the Fundadores before,
you're missing out. Yeah.
So I've had the pleasure to share some with Trevor. I had about a year ago, and he was talking about how good a cigar it was for how young it was, and I think I had one with you.
Yep.
How long ago was that?
That was early last year, I think. Yeah. That was my first one, and I loved it. Yeah, it was awesome.
It was awesome.
What was the ring gauge? What's the ring gauge again? 38.
This is a funny thing, folks. Why is it not 38? No one knows. That's Cuba being Cuba or Habanos SA being Habanos SA. It's always been
39.
40 ring gauge.
40. Okay.
It's always been 40. However, just from the size of the length is 192 millimeters. So if you do an inches conversion, we are talking 7.5 inches length. So it's a fairly long cigar. I think if you compare that to the Romeo Giulietta Churchill or the Cohiba Splendidos or the H. Upmann Sir Winston, those 3 Churchills are the last regular production Churchills left. They're 178 millimeters in length, or they're right on the 7 inches. So this is another half inch in length on that. But yeah, unlike the Cohiba Lanceros and the Monte Cristo Speciales, they're 38 ring gauge. This is 40, just a little bit bigger. But you get those anomalies in the Habanos SA catalogue. So I'll give you an example. The Menudos and Perlas cigars. Menudos, like saying Cristobal El Principe, 42 ring gauge by 110, whereas Perla size cigars like the Rafael Gonzalez Perlas or the Monte Cristo No. 5 or the Cohiba Siglo No. 1, they're 40 ring gauge by 102, slightly smaller, both in length and in its ring gauge. So that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Now the history to these cigars, I'm really happy with how that burn is really corrected. So that's fantastic. These Trinidad as a marker only came out as a Cuban brand around 1997.
1990. Diplomatic gifts to start with.
They were diplomatic gifts for quite a bit of time, like the Cohibas. And I think at the time that they came out, they were marketed as a prestige cigar. And I think, I remember putting this up on the forum, the fact that they got pigtails. My theory is that all the cigars that have pigtails are always marketed as more prestigious cigars. That's my theory, but there's no literature.
Skill to make it, doesn't it, as well?
Does it? Yeah, I think to roll them and to just get that pigtail right. You have to take a little bit more extra skill than just gluing on a cap.
Yeah,
you'd have to say that's right.
Because you've got to leave enough there to then get the right pigtail. Because ours was spot on. It looks exactly the same almost.
That were absolutely spot on. And actually, funnily enough that you mentioned that, Luca, if you've got cigars with pigtails and you've left them in your humidor for a while, you notice they get a bit flat or they get a bit squashed. And this wasn't like that. It's only a year old cigar. The pigtail was just perfect.
Straight up. Yeah. I guess it's from if you have other ones sitting in the box pressing against the box, that would just fold down in.
Absolutely. So that's going great as per a lot of the other cigars.
Milky, milky flavours, coffee, donut.
We're going to come back and discuss more Trinidad in the well into the second third. We're going to come back and discuss more and share some interesting thoughts then. So we're into the second third, folks, and what are you picking up, Luca?
Still that really nice, strong, milky flavour.
Yeah.
And nice coffee flavour in there. The spice is very subtle. I think it's died down a tiny bit on the palate. Just similar flavours since the start. And my burn's been spot on. Haven't had any touch-ups required.
Just a bit of background. I'm similar in regards to what I've picked up. It's still very enjoyable. It's picked up a little bit in strength for me, but it's still got that coffee and dough main flavours. But just to give you a little bit of background with Trinidad, folks, we talked about Trinidad being a prestige market before. It was given as diplomatic gifts for a good 30 years. Before it became a brand on its own in 97. When it came out in 97, it was marketed by Habanos SA as I said, a prestige marker in line with Cohiba. Now, the story with Cohiba, and this has been...
Cohiba's the youngest brand, is it? Or one of the youngest?
I think... what do you mean by that?
Introduced... Well, when did it come out? Officially, it was.
So the story with Cohiba, for those of you that don't know, is that that was the prestigious diplomatic gifts cigar. I think from memory, the Lanceros was around 64 and the Coronas Especiales 67. I think I'm right on saying that. They're the two main cigars that came out, and for a time, Habanos SA had a business agreement with two European retailers, Dunhill and Zeno Davidoff.
Yes.
And Davidoff was considered the prestigious cigar for quite a number of years. But in the 80s, the story goes that Davidoff wasn't happy with
the quality control.
Yeah. And there's conjecture with exactly why he left and the whole, the nuts and bolts of the whole, how he left. But we don't need to go into that. But the point is this: Adriano Martinez Ruiz, who was a former head of Tabacuba, as it was called then, he gave the background information in Mid-Nortonese Illustrated Encyclopedia of Post-Revolution Cigars, what we call, cigar enthusiasts called the Cigar Bible. It came out in 2003, and he confirmed that when Davidoff left, Cohiba was marketed as a replacement prestigious marker in 92.
Okay.
And the first cigars that came out for that were the Siglo 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yep.
And they were a hit. There's no doubt about that. And they've been a hit ever since. And this cigar, or this brand, Trinidad, came out about 5 years later as similarly as a prestige marker, but it never really caught on. And surprisingly enough, you may not know this, but Cohiba, believe it or not, and Cohiba gets a lot of flack from cigar enthusiasts because they're all perfectos. That was branded in, I think, 96, 97, around then, as a prestigious marker, but it never caught on ever as a prestigious marker. Never.
Okay.
I think mainly because quality control on them is very particular with perfectos. You've got to get it right.
I know Rob really is keeps a really good eye out on when he's looking for them, and very particular.
Yes.
With Cohiba.
The Kawaba that has the most prestige is the Kawaba Limited Edition 2008, which you happen to have a box of and you've smoked, so you could tell the folks how good it is.
The Pyramides.
The Pyramides. Yeah. You've had one recently?
Yeah, I had one this week, and that was, wow, it was really nice. Bit of a toasted tobacco and kind of a bit of a slight wood nut flavour, and then but what was really pronounced, I found, was licorice. A lot of licorice flavour out of it.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. I never had that type of flavour in a cigar yet.
And the thing is, for those people that write off limited editions as only good to smoke in the first 1 or 2 years,
this was full of flavour.
11 years old?
Yeah, I'll give you one.
No, please don't do that. Let's talk about that off air. But 11 years old and just fantastic. But when you mentioned Rob, when he picks the Kawabas, he has to look over them very carefully and make sure he picks ones that are worthy of a 24/24 listing.
Yep.
It's not just anyone. But back to this Fundadores though, Rob has been putting these up the last 2 years quite often because, frankly, folks, they've been that good. And smoking this now, this is every bit as good as the 6 or 7 or 8 I've had in the last year of the ARS and the RAG box codes.
And how you finding the flavours are pretty similar to what?
Oh yeah,
spoke?
Very similar to what I got at the beginning.
Spice is just there.
It's just there.
Yeah.
How are you retrohaling it?
Super smooth. It's nice. Really, really good. You're having no problems with it also, so that says a lot. You don't retrohale that much.
I don't, and I put that up recently on the forum.
Yeah.
I tip my hat off to anyone that retrohales 1 Lopez number 2 like Luca, and the number few reply to that you do that. And so again, I don't have a hat, but Luca can tip his hat, his fez for you guys. But that's strong for me to retrohale. But this is fine.
Yeah,
retrohaling fine, and
especially for a young cigar.
Yeah.
Usually they do have a bit of edge to them, but this one's great. Perfect.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
So we're going to leave it there and come back when we are in the last third. Well, we're well and truly into the last third, folks. And again, as per all the other cigars we've sampled in the 2018 Christmas sample review series, it's just great. I don't think I've had one. This is the 8th one so far that I've said, in the last third, this is, I've got to put it down.
I think it was the last. I think it wasn't bad, but I think the Partagas E2 that was good, but at the end it kind of just lost it a bit. Yeah, sure. And it was just a bit.
But that's the only one.
Yeah, but it was still a good cigar from the go. I wasn't disappointed. So, but everything's been hitting the mark, and this is too. I'm so happy to have smoked this again. It's good. I like these sampler packs, and I really appreciate that Rob does them because it's a lot of time and effort to set them up for the team, and as you can imagine, with how many they're sending out. And all the packaging as well. So it's just a really good opportunity to try some really good quality stuff, and expand your taste and invest and look into buying boxes later down the track, which I'll definitely be doing as one of my things on the to-do list.
So talking about boxes, we had a look on the Cuban Cigar website, the history of packaging for the Trinidad Fundadores, just to let you know. They come in, and we didn't know, Luke and I didn't know exactly how to pronounce that French word, B-O-I-T-E. English speakers would say boîte, but it's boîte. Semi-boîte.
French. It comes from the French word, well, it originates from a French word for box.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it always came in semi-boîte nature boxes, SBN boxes. So at one point, it came in 12 count and a 50 count. Believe it or not, a 50 count.
Yeah.
Fabled 50 count.
This continued in 2000.
Yeah, 2006.
I'd love to see pictures of that. if anyone has pictures of 50 count box for the Trinidad Fundadores, post it up in the thread. That'd be really good to see. Or if anyone knows where they can find a pic of it. Yeah.
Yeah. At the moment, I think they did come in 12 counts for quite a bit of time. Varnish boxes, but I'm not sure. I don't think they come in 12 count.
They discontinued that from memory when we were looking at the site. Yeah.
So all you're going to get is
24
count. They even had 5-pack cardboard.
Yeah.
Packs. 5 count cardboard packs.
Yeah.
For a while. So if you want to pick this up, you're going to have to get it in a 24 count.
We'll get a sample if
SBN
Rob
box.
does one like you did.
Yeah, and they come up with FOH often in 6-pack samples, quarter box. Go for it. Yeah. It's our recommendation.
Overall, it's been pretty spot on. I'm feeling a little bit of spice picking up now again. I'm not sure if you're getting the same. Basically, but it's still got some of those nice flavours, as I've said before. And I've had to relight it, but that was my fault anyways because I probably wasn't giving it enough attention. Yeah. So
I've been fortunate ever since I showed you at the beginning of the review the burn correcting itself. I haven't had to recorrect it or relight it again, and it's been spot on. Ash has been like that all the way through.
How's the strength for you? I think it's up the notch a tiny bit.
Just a tiny bit.
That's about it. Compared to the start.
10% stronger now, but more than that.
Yeah.
Even to the last third, it's easily smokable. Great.
Yeah. Very, very pleased with this.
Yeah. All right then. So get this if you can. If you
smoke them now, age them.
That's the other thing.
They're good young.
They're good young.
Yeah. So you won't have any.
And they have that coffee and dough main flavour.
Dough,
unlike previous Trinidad in the past, which was more hard to describe. Trinidad in the past, I feel was more, for me personally, was more from what I've sampled, was more complex, more slightly, a bit more spice and grass and wood in it. But this doesn't have any of that watergrass that I've known it to have in the past. Certainly the coffee and dough flavours are the main flavours that, it's slightly changed. I don't know. You could say, as a question, have they had a blend change? I don't know. It is what it is at the moment, but I'm enjoying these as they are.
Love them.
Yeah.
And I think you got a few more here as well.
I do upstairs. Yeah. I have about 3 or 4 left out of the quarter packs that I picked up. Anyway, look forward to the next review.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching, and until next time, happy smoking.